From Nelson Field in Bel-Air, it's high school football on WTOV TV9. Today, the Bellaire Big Reds host the St.Clairsville Red Devils. Hello again, everybody. George Kellis along with Coach Rich Walensky. I don't think we would have thought that these two teams would have the collective record that they do right now. I think one thing's fair to assume that the balls are going to be up in the air a little bit today.
This could be a very long game, George, and I hope that the production truck has plenty of tape, because both of these teams are wide open offenses. They throw the ball around a lot. The problem has been, neither St. Clairsville or Bel-Air has been very successful in stopping people defensively, so we might be in for a very high-scoring game this afternoon.
All right, and in case something develops with regard to world affairs during the course of this broadcast, we certainly will break away to the networks for updates. In the meantime, we'll be back with the national anthem right after these messages here on WTOV TV9.
Thanks for watching the WTOV9 Game of the Week between the St.Clairsville Red Devils and the Bellaire Big Reds. The WTOV9 Game of the Week is brought to you by Belmont Savings Bank, Alltel, Warden Office Equipment, Number 1 Snyder Tire, Robinson Law Offices, Open MRI of Steubenville Weirton, True Value Hardware Stores, Weirton Chiropractic Clinic, Ormed Credit Union, and Solette Nogay and McCune.
All right, we have returned to Nelson Field. I believe we're going to have some words here by a local pastor, and then we're going to hear the national anthem performed by the Bel-Air High School Marching Band, and a ceremonial start to this game for obvious reasons, given the circumstances in our country this week.
And then I'm going to pick another trip for it. We'll just come back and then I'll pick up one. Okay. Yeah, come back and then I'm going to set it right back here. Back here at Nelson Field. Line up in the ball.
All right, we'll be back with the opening kickoff. St. C at Bel-Air right after this. All right, we're ready for football here at the newly renovated Nelson Field. Coach, one thing with the somber pregame and quite naturally with all the emotions in the country this week, I think it's a little bit difficult to kindle the emotions normally associated with football.
I think so, George. Normally, this stadium would be packed for this game against St. Clairsville and Bel-Air, and there's a sparse crowd here today, which is not surprising in a way. People are more concerned about you know, the things that are going on with our country in New York and in Washington and
well, even the
Pennsylvania.
emotion with the teams. You know what I'm saying? When they came
right.
out, we had the pregame. There was, you know, it's almost difficult, I think, for these kids to really absorb everything and get involved in a football game, and that's certainly understandable.
Absolutely, and you know, these high school kids realize the gravity of the situation that exists in our country right now, and you know, anybody that thinks that that they don't, that you know, they've insulated themselves against that is totally incorrect.
Look at this, a little short kick. Bel-Air will get great field position at the 40-yard line. I'm not sure if that was an intentional onside kick, perhaps to catch somebody off guard.
I think it was, and really not a bad piece of strategy on the part of Coach Wallner from St. Clairsville to start the game with an onside kick. Sort of backfired a little bit, and as you pointed out, Bel-Air has the ball in great field position at their own 40-yard line on this first series.
Both of these teams have struggled. St. C has lost some excruciatingly tough games. You saw one of those against Edison on opening night. Bel-Air had a great first half against Wheeling Park, and since has had an assortment of problems. That is Jeremy Rieger, the ball carrier on first down for Bel-Air. He'll gain perhaps a yard before the Red Devils corral him.
Yeah, that just a power play off tackle. Bel-Air's going to try to establish a running game, as evidently.
There's the Big Red skilled unit, and now the interior line for the Big Reds. Second down and 9. And the up back gets the call, and he's not getting anywhere. Damon Jeffries for no gain on the play. It'll be 3rd and long as we look at the St. Clairsville defensive unit, which has struggled this year, but playing well here, at least early on. The front four, the linebackers, and the secondary. Opening moments of the first quarter, the colors of the day, red and black, red and gray, red, white, and blue.
Absolutely.
His Old Glory is more than prominent today, including a half-staff flag. Here's a pass, a dangerous pass. It's caught. Now we'll see where they mark this. Wallner completes the pass, and it's caught by Vince Stemkowski, and the mark is good for the first down. Now he had to come back for that ball, Coach, and the question was, did he catch it before he crossed the plane back inside what the first down would have been?
And Coach Wallner is arguing with the spot, and I'll tell you, he's really upset. And you know, Wallner under a lot of duress right here. He's got, you know, throws the ball while he's in the grasp of a couple of guys, and you can see a great play by Stemkowski. Coach Wallner is really upset.
Wallner gives it off and stacked up at the line of scrimmage. The one thing that St. C had a problem with coming into this season, Coach, is they lost their top 9 interior linemen. And I think that it's going to take a while for this undersized and inexperienced interior line to come together on both sides of the ball.
Well, I tell you, so far they're playing, you know, pretty good defense. 3 running plays have gained almost nothing for Bel-Air, and you know, the pass got them the first down. So they've been very, very inadequate running the ball so far.
Second down and 10. Wallner is back and looking deep down the field, and it's over the head. Now there's a penalty marker. Stemkowski was the intended receiver, but they are going to call a pass interference, and my guess is that Mark Boner's not going to be real happy about that either.
Well, I'll tell you, he's talking to the official on this side who wasn't involved in the call, but I think he's probably still talking about the pass to Stemkowski that got Bel-Air a first down. Official trying to calm him down a little bit, but Mark's not having any of it.
It's interesting because you won't find a group of people any closer off the field than Mark Wallner and the Bel-Air coaching staff. But the competitive fires burn brightly within all of these fellows.
They sure do.
They get on opposite sidelines. We have a 1st and 10 for the Big Reds. Now here is Wallner under a rush from the backside again and just throws it out of bounds, incomplete. Now they might call this intentional grounding.
Yeah.
Because that pass was right in front of the St. Clairsville bench. That's the one thing coaches tend to do, is work the official's ear pretty good, especially when they can get their ear that close to their sideline.
I'll tell you, in most cases, George, unless it's a misapplication of the rule, the officials are going to listen. And if they make a judgment call, and they're never going to turn it around. But, you know, you start working them a little bit, and as the game goes along, you know, very, very possibly you might get a little call here and there, you know, in your favor. But, you know, Keith Bloom, the referee on this crew, is the one that made the call. He's a seasoned official, and I'm sure that, you know, that was a correct call as far as he was concerned.
The mark off all the way back to midfield. It's a loss of down on top of that, so the Big Reds are looking at 2nd down and 25. In high school ball, these are the kind of situations you cannot let the offense off the hook.
That's for sure.
A lot of ground to make up at the high school level. Wallner does complete a pass for a gain of 6, maybe 7 yards, and Ben Doyle made the catch.
Lance Mell's son that time
on the tackle.
On the hit.
They really like Logan Mell. They think he is as athletic as anybody in the family since dear old dad. Now, there's the open field tackle by Logan.
Short gain for Bel-Air. It's going to bring up 3rd down and about 19. So they got 6 that time.
Ball at the St. C 44-yard line. Wallner is back, double pump fake. Now there's another interference call here as Stemkowski apparently is roughed up. And the thing is, I don't know that he was running the same pattern right there, because that ball was 20 yards down the field. I don't know if he was going to break that pattern off, or in fact he was forced to by somebody that had him in a headlock.
Well, I'll tell you, number 9 was on the coverage. That's Brandon Williams, defensive back, and he definitely did have hold of him and had him in a bear hug and wasn't going to let him get by. So that's going to be an second pass interference call against St. C in this series. That's going to be a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot.
Well, there it is. You get Bel-Air into a 2nd and 25. And then defensively, you let them off the hook, as we mentioned here a second ago. So it is now 1st and 10, a whistle.
I thought this was going to be a long game because of all the passes. It may be a long game because of all the penalties. There's another flag thrown this time, and it's a procedure penalty against Bel-Air, so it's going to be 1st and 15.
Well, each team taking its turn committing boo-boos here early on.
I'll tell you, there's already been 3 major penalties in this game, George. 2 pass interference penalties, an intentional grounding, and now an illegal procedure. So maybe the kids just aren't really focused into the game yet, but I'm sure that they'll get that way as the game progresses.
1st down and 15. This is going to go for a 1st down, maybe a lot more. It's a touchdown. The pass reception by Josh Baldwin.
Just a short 3-step drop for the wide receiver on that side. They had twins both ways, and just a stop pattern. And once he received the ball, did a good job of making something happen after the catch. So we're going to take a look at it. Here it is right here. Just a stop pattern, about a 4 or 5 yard pattern, but a great move right there by Baldwin down the sideline. Shows some real nice speed, is able to outrun the safety, get into the end zone for the score for Bel-Air, and they're the first ones to strike.
Clayton Williams on the point after, and the kick is good. So with 8:51 to go in the first quarter, your score, Bel-Air 7, St. C nothing. You're watching high school football on WTOV TV 9. And Bel-Air gets on the board first. St. C had a couple of real good opportunities to stop them in a down and distance situation, was unable to do so, and that's been St. C's problem. They have not been able to stop people this year.
They had Bel-Air in a 3rd and 19, George, and got penalized for pass interference, which gave them a 1st down and maintained possession, and then went in and scored. So penalties definitely hurt St.Clairsville on that drive.
Get a chance, we'll get a scan of the new grandstand on the far side. Now here is St. C on the return. Good coverage by Bel-Air. Williams on the return for the Devils. Heath, a junior. TJ Heath on the tackle, and he knifed through there and made the play. St. C offensively, it all revolves around number 8, Adam Quirk. That is the skilled unit, and these are the interior linemen.
And that's where the inexperience lies, is in that offensive line. Very young group of guys. But I'm sure as the season progresses, they're going to get a little better.
Quirk back on first down from his own 27. The ball is incomplete, almost intercepted, in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Brandon Williams.
Defending for the Big Reds, number 58, Jason LaRoche. Brings up a 2nd down and 10.
Pretty good pass protection that time for Adam Quirk. Little drop, trying to go to a short receiver. They had trips set to the right, and ball off the receiver's hands, almost intercepted, but good protection.
They've gone to 5 wides right here. Here's a little screen pass, and this will work for about 4, maybe 5. Brett Jordan made the reception for the Red Devils.
You know, George, when Edison played St.Clairsville the opening game of the season, St.Clairsville was in a wide open offense. You know, the ball on the end of the line, the quarterback going in motion from a wide receiver to right behind the quarterback, and they've gone now to a more conventional style offense, and see if it's going to be more effective.
Here is Quirk in some trouble. Now throws late over the middle. The ball is intercepted. Here comes Bel-Air. Quirk will make the tackle, but not before the Big Reds bring it back to the 21-yard line. They'll have a 1st and 10. And Quirk is one of the outstanding passing quarterbacks in the Valley. Make no mistake about that. Jason LaRoche on the interception, but that was an ill-advised pass right there.
We're going to see it right here. He's flushed out of the pocket, under some pressure, tries to force the ball in, double coverage on the receiver, and Jason LaRoche, big inside linebacker, makes the interception and returns it and puts the ball in great field position for Bellaire at about the 22-yard line.
Inside handoff. And good yardage, Jeremy Rieger,
George,
ball carrier, and there's, I believe, a change at quarterback.
Yeah.
I think Dominic Liberati is now out there.
And that's what I was going to say. I had made a comment to you during the break that I wondered if Coach Magistro was going to alternate his quarterbacks on every series, and evidently he is, because Dominic Liberati is in right now running the team in place of Matt Wallner, who directed that touchdown drive for Bellaire.
A gain of 7, 2nd down and 3 at the St. C 15-yard line. This time the Red Devils step it up against the run inside.
It's evident that Coach Magistro is trying to get his running game going, and you know, it hasn't been real successful so far. We're going to take a look at it. Just a power play with a fullback leading off tackle right here, but pretty good job by that St. Clairsville defense flowing to the football and holding it to no gain, so it's going to bring up 3rd and about 1.
If one or both of these teams don't get a running game going, then he may have to install lights as part of the renovation here, because we're going to be here a long time. There's the handoff. I think that'll be good for a 1st down, as it was Jeremy Rieger.
That'll give him a 1st down at about the 10-yard line, and I don't think that they're going to be able to get a 1st down, George. They're going to have to score because the ball is placed just slightly inside the 10, so it's 1st and goal from there.
Well, that's where it stands right now. 1st down, 10. 6.5 minutes to go here in the 1st quarter. Bel-Air calls a timeout. We'll be back after these messages. You are watching high school football on WTOV TV now. We are back, as you referred to the old Bill Van Horn, the late Bill Van Horn, at sun-drenched Nelson Field. Here are the Big Reds. Their 1st down inside the 10-yard line. They go to the run. Jeffries carries, and it's short yardage on the play. It'll be 2nd down for the Reds.
Jeffries is really a nice-looking running back, George. He's got nice size, built low to the ground, has good balance. You can see him right here, finding a little crack, as you can see in that St. Clairsville defense, and is able to get it down near the 5-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal from about the 6.
Ball is plowed forward.
Damon Jeffries again, the ball
Damon Jeffries to about the 3-yard line. Bel-Air leads 7-0. George Kellis
and Coach Rich Walensky. On the coolest day of this football season so far, make no mistake about that. That's the up back. So the quick hit into the middle of this line is an early strategy here for the Bel-Air offense.
It's low risk type offense. It's Jeffries
there it
again.
is again. Jeffries
And
gets
he's got it in.
his 2 yards and the touchdown.
Belaire's
Fancy there.
Belaire's offensive line did a great job on that goal line offense, George. They really got St. Clairsville's defensive linemen on roller skates. Were able to get a real good push on 3 successive running plays. Here it is. You can see it right here, and you can see the crack that appears in that defensive front of St. Clairsville. Jeffrey's able to power it in from about the 2.
And the point after attempt is again up and good. Clayton Williams administered the extra point. So St. C is in a situation that they probably don't want to be in, but I guess with the offense that they run, they're just as well ahead or behind, because some teams would be just totally discombobulated with their offensive game plan if they were a power running team or something like that at this point. St. C's going to run the same offense no matter what the score is.
Oh, absolutely. They're a big play offense, George, and with Adam Quirk at quarterback and a fine core of receivers that he has, they can score from anywhere on the field. And, they just have to be careful of their turnovers. Penalties have hurt them a little bit so far, but, they're certainly not out of this ball game by any stretch of the imagination.
Next Friday night, the Wheeling Park Patriots against the Edison Wildcats. That will follow Sports Friday right here on WTOV TV9. Edison, a pleasant surprise this season despite last night's loss to a pretty good football team.
Yeah, we played Licking Valley last night from up around the Newark, Ohio area. Really a nice football team. Had nice size, good speed, excellent running game, and they were just able to control the game with their running game, kept the ball out of our hands, and we lost 17-7, but overall our kids really played hard, did a good job, and I'm sure they'll account themselves admirably.
Nice return here by the Red Devils out over the 45 and on to about the 47 or 48 yard line.
Brought down by number 25,
all right, we're going to take a look at the Bel-Air defensive unit, which we have not seen. Poe, Doyle, Tobin, and Duval on the front. Littell, LaRoche, Wallner, and Stemkowski. And your secondary, Jeffries, Baldwin, and Barnes. A lot of guys, obviously, for these two teams have to play 2 ways this year. There's a lot of inexperience out here. Bel-Air has a lot of sophomores. There was a lot of hope that maybe these guys would arrive this year, but it's looking more and more like it'll take another year or so before some of that young talent really matures. Here is the pass over the middle and incomplete. Adam Quirk
I tell you,
down the field.
To give you an example of how wide open St. Clairsville really is, that time they had 5 receivers on the field, 4 of them aligned to the left side of their formation, and trying to hit a little curl pattern across the middle. The ball was just a little bit wide, so it's going to bring up a 2nd and 10 after an outstanding return on the kickoff.
2nd and 10, St. C from its own 45. They face a 14-0 deficit here at Bel-Air. Now they go to the run. There's a penalty marker behind the play. This might be a hold against the Red Devils.
That was thrown by the umpire, which generally indicates some type of a infraction in the interior of the line, normally against the offense after the play started. So we'll see what the initial signal is. It's a face mask penalty against Bellaire.
Face mask violation against the Big Reds.
There it is right here.
See any of it?
See if we can pick it up. There it is right there. And that's a personal foul, so it's going to be a 15-yarder.
On the face mask, a 15-yard penalty.
The mark-off comes all the way down inside the Bel-Air 40. This is the best situation that St. C has found itself in so far. 1st and 10 at the Bel-Air 39. The Big Reds lead the Red Devils 14-0.
4 wide receivers for St. Clairsville.
Quirk rolls. Quirk has some running room. He has a 1st down, and
continues ahead inside the 25-yard line.
You know, not only is he a fine quarterback, George, you know, that has a great arm. You know, he's a real heady quarterback. I think that he's a real student of the game. He understands the game and understands what Coach Boner's trying to do. But he's a real physical player as well. He has good size, and here you can see he has pretty good speed. And, you know, he's not going to step out of bounds. Watch him lower his shoulder right here and take on the defender. And I'm sure that Coach Boner shudders every time he does that.
Well, he starts on defense, too.
Yeah, plays a defensive end position.
Little inside counter. This works for better yardage than I think Bel-Air had in mind for sure, and Brett Jordan may have another first down.
Nice play that time. 4 receivers set to the left, and came back with a counter away from that. And a real nice play. Got a nice little crack in there, as you can see. Pulling guard, gets a nice kick-out block, and does a good job of getting his shoulder squared up to the goal line and running north and south, and did a good job of getting a first down near the 10-yard line.
Well, Bel-Air has had its own share of concerns defensively in the early part of this season, and St. C now trying to make a move. Wisely, Quirk held on to the football that time on a first down.
Hit by number 16, Vince Stemkowski. Also on that stop, number 80, Clay Boston.
He's looking for his wide receiver to this side, number 9, Brandon Williams, running a sprint out pattern. And see here, he's looking, and wisely pulls the ball down and tries to get what he can, but he's going to lose a couple of yards, so it's going to bring up a 2nd and about 13.
Theoretically, they could get a first down almost up against the goal line. You can see where the stick's just short of the pylon at the goal line. 2nd down and 14. Quirk fakes the run, then throws late on the far side, and that's a good play because it makes the defensive linebackers freeze for a moment. They don't know whether to commit to his run or to stay put.
And you know, that's the threat that he is once he gets over there. And what that formation does, George, is it really softens the perimeter of Bel-Air's defense by having those receivers push everybody off. And you can see the ball is thrown slightly behind the receiver, but a real good catch that time by the wide receiver. I didn't get the number, but I think it may have been number 2, St. John. 3rd and goal from about the 1.5-yard line.
They empty the backfield. Wallner throws, touchdown to Brett Jordan.
Wow, what a play by Quirk that time, because he had somebody right in his fence.
I meant to say Quirk. I think I said Wallner, but yeah, Adam Quirk, coach, if you will, again made a really nice play right there, and Jordan's wide open.
Yeah, good job that time. Run a little screen, and third guy out of the backfield right there. You can see he's wide open. Just don't have enough people over there to cover everybody.
The all-important conversion when you're down 14-0, and the Devils will have to settle for a 14-6.
By number 57, Matt Duvall.
Number 57, Matt Duvall, 6'3", 275, collapsed that interior of the offensive line and was able to get in there and block it. So instead of being down by 7, St. Clairsville finds themselves down by 8 at this particular point. But has to give them a little bit of confidence, George, that they were able to move the ball down and get the score.
Now, 20 points have been scored here in the first 9 minutes of this football game. We still have 3:05 to play in the first. So if you like a little entertaining fast break football, we may have an afternoon of scoring here.
And penalties have played a big part in 2 of the scores. You know, in this game, Bel-Air's first possession, a couple pass interference calls, and then face mask call against Bel-Air on St. Clairsville's last possession. So penalties have really played a part in 2 of the 3 scores that we've had in this ball game so far, and the turnover has played a part in the 3rd.
Another look at the touchdown, Coach.
Here it is. You can see number 5, he was the inside receiver. Everybody else pushed off, and then he came underneath it, and a great pass by Quirk, because, as I said, he had somebody right in his face and was able to get just enough on the ball to get it to his receiver.
A little bit of a breeze out here this afternoon, so they hold on the kickoff, hold the ball to the tee. Here is Stemkowski looking for some place to go. And he runs laterally down at the 34-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Big Reds. Now this is a situation where at some point it's sort of like you got to break serve when you're down, and that's what St. C's got to do. If Bel-Air scores every time they get the football from here on out, St. C's in trouble.
That's for sure.
So the Devils, it behooves them to put the clamps down one time on defense and give their offense an opportunity.
There's a 4-wide set for Bellaire.
And a wide open receiver in Josh Baldwin, who manages only about 4 yards on this play.
The number 9, Josh Baldwin.
Short passing game, seems to be something that both teams are concentrating on right now. And we'll take a look at it right here. Baldwin, running a little stop pattern, very similar to the one he scored on, George, only on the other side of the field, and this time much better defense by the defensive secondary of St. Clairsville to hold it to a short gain.
This will be short, I think, by about a yard of the first down. Rieger gets the call.
Had a nice little crack and was able to get it upfield. It's going to be close to the first down, and they may measure this one.
And they will indeed.
Here it is right here, and good kick out block by the fullback for Bellaire is able to let that deep back for Bellaire find a crack over the right side and get it up close to the first down marker.
If not a first down, then third and very, very short.
George, if Bellaire is able to run the football, and run it successfully, they're really going to be in the driver's seat offensively, because they're going to keep St. C's defense back on their heels a little bit. So far, they've been somewhat successful throwing the ball. They're starting to show a little bit of success in running the ball right now. So if they can do both of those things and mix in the play action pass, this could be a very productive afternoon for the Bellaire offense.
Yeah, because I think one of the problems St. C has with an undersized, again, and experienced line is they just can't line up and ram it. Right. They're not going to be able to do that. Bel-Air has at least the wherewithal with some. They're beefier up front than they've been in recent years. Make no mistake.
They certainly are.
Shot of John Magistro on the other side. Head coach here since 1984. Wallner throws and incomplete. An argument could be made there that somebody horse-collared the receiver. But Brett Jordan gets credit for a pass breakup right there.
And, Wallner is dangerous, just like Adam Quirk when he gets out on the perimeter. Throws a nice ball right here, but not so sure that the St. Clairsville defender was going for the ball as much as he was going for the receiver. But nevertheless, it's a breakup, no call, and it's going to bring up 2nd and 10 for Bellaire.
2nd down 10. The Big Reds from their own 44-yard line. Wallner throws. There are 2 receivers in the area. Pass falls between them.
That was Baldwin, and I think Stemkowski was the second receiver over there. The ball intended for him, but overthrown and out of bounds, so it's going to bring up 3rd and long for Bellaire.
You ever get one of those first quarters, I'm sure you have had eons of them, where it seems like teams run the football and, man, that first quarter just goes in the snap of a finger. This is not one of those.
It
Still
sure
a minute
isn't.
and 45 to go here in the first. All right, Wallner back, has time now, runs out of the pocket. St. C had people in position, and finally, Brett Jordan, who seems to be all over the place, steps up and smacks Wallner down. Jordan, one of the senior stalwarts on the St. C team at 5'11", and packs a wallop at 180.
Yeah, that was a good, solid open field hit right here. You can see that Wallner getting out of the pocket. Bam, right there. Good, solid open field hit.
Red Devils do force Bel-Air to punt the football. They get a little bit of pressure on the punter. Takes a Bel-Air bounce. Now it's down at the 23-yard line, 1st and 10. for the St. Clairsville Red Devils.
George, St. Clairsville did exactly what you indicated, you know, they needed to do was to, was to hold Bel-Air into a situation where they would punt the ball away, and they were successfully able to do that. So we'll now see if St. Clairsville can move the ball downfield to either tie the score or go down by 1.
See if we can get a close-up scan of that far grandstand, gang, in the truck, because for those who haven't seen it, it has been completely rebuilt and renovated with aluminum seating, a new roof. It takes a minute to get used to it. Here's the quarterback keeper, and Quirk is running ahead strong for another first down out to the 35-yard line. Quarterback draw very effective when you spread the field out.
Absolutely, George, and a very, very good observation on your part. You spread the field with 4 or 5 receivers and get those linebackers, out of the middle, and you can turn those tackles out. It sure does open up a hole inside, and when you have a good, strong quarterback like Adam Quirk, that makes a very, very effective play.
1st and 10, Red Devils. Bel-Air showing blitz here. Quirk throws, has his man. They still can't corral him. He's going to get 6, maybe 7 yards. Brandon Williams.
Quirk has such a quick release with the ball. Once he picks out his receiver, he gets the ball to the receiver very, very quickly. And you have to give a lot of credit to these St. C receivers, because he throws such a fastball that they really have to have the soft hands to handle.
There
the
will
football.
be no further play here in the first quarter as time has expired. At the end of 1 here at Nelson Field in Bel-Air, it's the Bellaire Big Reds 14, the St. Clairsville Red Devils 6. This is high school football on WTOV TV Now. And there it is, the new grandstand, all aluminum and steel, as opposed to the old wooden seats and that old painted grandstand over there. It jumps right out at you when you revisit Nelson Field. There was some question coming into the season for their home opener here whether or not they're going to have this joint ready to go.
I got to tell you a story, George. After this play, I was talking to Mike Sherwood before the John Marshall game, their first home game, and I'm going to have to share that with you because that was really a good story.
Here comes the wingman, and on 2nd down and 3, Brett Jordan is not going to get there.
We came down to do the John Marshall game a couple weeks ago, and that was Bel-Air's first home game. And when we came into the stadium, they had guys still working on the stadium. As a matter of fact, they had 2 sections closed because they didn't have it completed. But I asked him, I said, well, Mike, was there any danger of this thing ever getting done? He said, well, I'll tell you, Rich, what happened. On Wednesday, we had the company that was putting in the bleachers from North Carolina come in with a truck, and when they opened the back of the truck, 13 Mexicans jumped out, and they've been working ever since.
First down throw here for St. C into Bel-Air territory and down to the 41-yard line, and that's Brandon Williams, who's becoming a go-to guy, a 5'9", and only 140-pounder, but an elusive little guy. Looks like one of those run-and-shoot type receivers that we saw back in the NFL a few years ago, to Ernest Givens kind of a receiver.
Absolutely, and St. C is finding a little bit of a soft spot in the middle of that Bel-Air defense, right over the middle. They've completed 2 passes on this drive on little hooks across the middle.
And running out of there again is Adam Quirk. He is almost like a fullback when he gets into the secondary, which makes him that much more of a problem to defend as he gets another first down inside the Bel-Air 30.
Well, I tell you, Benji Lytle came up. He's a seasoned veteran for Bel-Air, a senior at 6 foot 215, and Quirk, took him on. So, he's not afraid of the contact, that's for sure. And they moved the sticks again for a first down inside the 30-yard line of Bel-Air. So St. Clairsville on the move right now.
Seems like Littell's role has changed a little bit. They used him a lot more on offense last year. I haven't seen him touch the ball yet on that side of the ball. Here is Quirk in the shotgun. St. C with a first down inside the Bel-Air 30-yard line. The pass protection breaks down. Now there's a penalty marker, probably for holding. And a late throw. It's tipped and caught. What a crazy sequence of events that probably is all for naught.
And this is going to be
no,
a
it's
face
against
mask.
Bel-Air. They're calling another face mask.
a St. C player is nicked and down, so in fact this thing will count.
Absolutely. I thought it was going to be a hold the way that Quirk was scrambling around back there, because that happens so often when you get a quarterback scrambling around back there. Guys have a tendency to
I'd say 80% of the time the call in that situation is going to be holding, and a couple of times the Big Reds have grabbed a part of the face gear, and it's going to be costly, because this exciting play, to say the least, will count.
And that'll put the ball down around the 6-yard line of Bel-Air. So, you know, Quirk was able to get out of trouble and complete a pass again to number 9, his favorite receiver so far, Brandon Williams. And Williams was able to take the ball down inside the 5-yard line. Well, let me take that back. That ball is going to be at about the 3.
Yeah, this is worth another glimpse, and this is what makes this fun to watch. When these two teams get together, you're not going to be bored with anything that's going on. You see the flag, so you're thinking, well, there must be a holding there. Now Quirk's already eluded 4 or 5 defenders. The ball was tipped by somebody, and there's Brandon Williams on the other end of it and just runs right through a tackle. And all of a sudden, they're back in the football game.
You know, George, and I'm not so sure if they replay this, if St. Clairsville didn't have an ineligible receiver downfield, because I think when Williams made that catch, I thought I saw number 53 down there trying to throw a block, and that definitely is an interior lineman. But
well, with all the things that these two teams do offensively, I think that some of it's so atypical of a high school type offenses. Well, Brett Jordan is shaken up on a play. This is a development here. I think he's okay, but he's walking off a little gingerly to the near side of the field.
It looks like he's favoring his left shoulder, left arm. He's holding it close to his body, and
that's David Hanna with him on the right from Wheeling Hospital Sports Medicine. And if David can't get him ready to go back in the game, nobody can.
Absolutely,
he's my man. All right, here is St. C at the 3-yard line. All of a sudden, they trailed 14-0. Now they've got an opportunity to get back-to-back scores here and jump right back. Quirk wants to run. They're trying to string it out. Quirk's got a touchdown. Couldn't string it out far enough. Adam Quirk, 2 yards. They get 3 yards for the score, and we've got ourselves a ball game here, gang.
You know, George, I'm going to take back my previous statement when I said I thought there may have been an ineligible receiver down there. That was Lewis, their fullback, that was down there, number 33.
Okay.
Here's Quirk on the sprint out, and boy, nice block also by Lewis right there to spring Quirk into the end zone for the score.
Well, here, what you were talking about with the ineligible guy, as long as it took for that play to develop, it's almost hard for a lineman not to release at some point. And,
absolutely.
Give them credit for not getting themselves caught out of position, and St. Clairsville now is in a good situation. They still trail 14-12, but have a chance, I'm sure, with a 2-point conversion attempt right upcoming here to perhaps tie the game. Bel-Air jumped out early on their opening possession. It was Wallner to Josh Baldwin, a 33-yard touchdown pass, and then Damon Jeffries with a 2-yard run. Point after conversions, and Bel-Air looked to be an early command 14-0, but St. C comes back later in the first quarter. Adam Quirk to Brett Jordan, 2 yards, 14-6. Then a 3-yard run by Quirk, who's having some kind of a first half right here.
They're going to go for 2, try to tie it up.
Quirk, short drop back throws, 2-point conversion.
Wow, and he was wide open. What a great pattern that time by the wide receiver, number 20.
I think that's Mel. Logan Mel on a slant to the post, and we have a tie ball game here in Bel-Air.
And he just froze that defender and was wide open on a slant pattern, real hard to the inside. And you'll be able to see right here. This is the touchdown. And watch the nice block here by 33, George. Boom.
You betcha.
Nice block. And
that doesn't go for the touchdown without that block.
Absolutely. Yeah, because that was Benji Lytle really zeroing in on Quirk.
Timeout here at Bel-Air. We're tied, and we'll be right back. Game tied at 14. St. C will kick off, as they did to open this game, and we're right back where we started from. Tied. 9:58 to go here in the second quarter. Again, another short kick, but good coverage, and the Big Reds will start at their own 35.
by number 58, Dan Howard.
Dan Howard on the hit. Good coverage that time by the special teams for St. Clairsville. Dan Howard being down there first. And I'm going to apologize to number 35 for Bel-Air for mispronouncing his name. It's Benji Littell. And Benji playing a great game defensively so far for Bel-Air.
The Reds line up in the eye. And the pass out here is knocked away and incomplete.
Dominic Liberati is back at the quarterback spot for Bel-Air. That time just put a little bit too much air under the ball, made the receiver wait a little bit too long, and St. Clairsville was able to get there on the defense of the pass.
Well, two players hung around and observed Greyhound practices during the indoor football league season quite a bit. Liberati was one and Quirk was the other, and I think these two guys hopefully learned something from it all. Right now, St. Clairsville looks like a rejuvenated football team.
I'll tell you, really fired up defensively. That was Chuck Boyd, big defensive tackle that broke through on the inside trap and threw the Bel-Air ball carrier for a 2-yard loss. It'll bring up 3rd and 12.
Boyd, a svelte 5'10", 250. 3rd and 12. Ball on the 33 of the Bellaire Big Reds. 14-14 here with St. C. Liberati throws incomplete. Somebody was shoving him back there, one of the defenders, as he tried to unload the football and he couldn't get enough on it.
That was Boyd again, George, 71, making good penetration and draped all over Liberati as he tried to get rid of the football. Here it is right here.
Mark Boner has to be pretty excited about the way his team has bounced back from early adversity and has kind of picked up the tempo right here. 3 and out for Bel-Air. They're going to have to punt the football.
And St. Clairsville came close to blocking it the last time, so we'll see if they go after it again. High snap.
And a low kick. Now normally that thing will take off and bounce way down the field, but apparently a little bit of that moisture that we got in here yesterday has at least softened the field up enough that that hit with a thud.
You know, this has been historic with Bel-Air. They use the most worn-out football that they can find
what would be
to play
the strategy
offensive.
there?
Well, you know, it's softer. It's not as hard as a new ball is. It's easier to kick. It's easier to handle. And you know, they practice with old balls so that you know they play with old balls too. And I can remember them doing that ever since Jake Olszewski was here.
Here's an inside handoff. That is down by contact after a gain of about 7 yards on the play.
Brian Lewis on the carry. I think that was him, number 33.
That's him. Lewis, a junior. 2nd down and a long 2 for the St. C. Red Devils. They have come back from a 14-0 deficit and tied this game, 8:25 and counting in the 2nd quarter. Quirk on a short drop finds an opening up the middle of 1st down and a lot more. Quirk runs by the secondary people and all the way to the Bel-Air 31-yard line.
George, that time Bel-Air was sending people, and the offensive line of St. Clairsville was able to pick up the stunts pretty well. You're going to see it right here. They're sending everybody, and Quirk is able to find a crack, and once that happens, nobody's going to be able to get him until he gets into the secondary, getting some good blocking downfield from Jordan right there, and enables Quirk to get some additional yards.
About a 24-yard jaunt. St. C. has the Big Reds a little bit on their heels right now. That is not working.
Nope.
If there's one play in their arsenal that has not worked, it's that one. And it gets stopped for a loss.
They're trying to run a counter that time with Jordan to the inside, but Bel-Air was sending so many people there. You know, they just had everything clogged up inside, and that's going to be about a 2-yard loss. It'll bring up 2nd and 12 at about the 37-yard line.
You know, they've got this whole roster full of sophomores. There are a lot of young people on this Bel-Air team, including the guy that just made that play right there, Mancini. 2nd down and 12. Quirk is in dire straits. And all of a sudden, all that momentum they had going is in reverse, courtesy of the Bel-Air defense.
And Belaire is really coming after him now. They're not sitting back and trying to defend. And against a good passing team like St. Clairsville, defensive coordinators have a nightmare trying to defend that, because you have to make a decision. Am I going to defend? Am I going to rush 4 and drop 7, rush 3, drop 8, or am I going to go after them? And right now, in the last couple of plays, Coach Stoltz, the defensive coordinator for Belaire, has decided, hey, we're going after him.
So now you're looking at 3rd down and 18. Quirk gets out of the pocket, throws the pass complete. Is this now incomplete? And gee, many Christmas. Brandon Williams not only got separated from the ball, but separated from his senses as well by one of the Bel-Air defenders.
I tell you, good hit downfield, and Quirk is under a rush right here. He's going to get flushed out of the pocket. You can see right here, and he sets, trying to hit number 9 across the middle. The ball is in his hands, but just an excellent defensive hit in the secondary. Separates him from the football, so it's going to bring up 4th and 18, and that will put St. Clairsville into a punting situation.
6:16 to go in the half. We're tied 14-14 here at Nelson Field on a cool autumn-like afternoon. We still have about 6 days of summer left, but the clock is turning on us. Here's the punt. The punt is going to go on into the end zone, and there's a penalty marker down. Let's see what this is before we go to the break.
It's going to be
illegal procedure.
The flag is initially illegal procedure against the Red Devils.
See if Bel-Air elects to take the ball at their own 20-yard line, or if indeed they're going to make them re-kick.
Yeah, they'll take the ball on the 20.
That would be my decision. And we have a timeout on the field. As we look at the scoreboard, it is St. Clairsville 14, Bel-Air 14. This is high school football on WTOV TV 9. All right, on 1st down, Jeremy Rieger gets the call. Wallner is back in at quarterback as the revolving quarterback scenario continues here for the Big Reds. What are the pluses and minuses of throwing different quarterbacks, Coach? I mean, some people don't like it. Some people do. You saw Ohio State have some varying success with it, with Stanley Jackson and
Joe Germain.
A few years ago.
Well, you have 2 different quarterbacks. Wallner, who is has good speed, good feet, is more of a sprint out type, quarterback, has a good arm. Dominic Liberati, on the other hand, is more of a pocket type passer. And from the standpoint of defense, the philosophy of the offensive coach is that we can change up the tempo a little bit. But by the same token, nobody seems to be able to get into a rhythm, by playing only a series and then coming out for a series.
3rd and very short. I think he has the 1st down. He did not need much.
The handoff was not real smooth that time. The running back and the quarterback collided, but was able to get the handoff and get the 1st down.
You get Benji Littell involved in the offense right there, so it is a 1st down at the 31-yard line. Not a bad idea to give it to Littell at 6 feet 215.
It's nice looking fullback. Has the physique of a fullback.
Rieger gets about 5.
A little stretch play that time on the part of Belaire. Was able to stretch the defense, and good job by the offensive line of Belaire. They were able to get everybody sealed to the inside and gave the running back from Belaire a little bit of room to get to the outside, and he was able to make a nifty move back to the inside to get some additional yardage. That was Jeremy Rieger, so good run by Jeremy Rieger and good blocking by the offensive line of Belaire. Gain of about 5 will bring up 2nd and 5.
Wallner with a nice play fake. Throws over the head, incomplete, intended for Littell.
Benji Littell coming out of the backfield, trying to get into the flat for the 1st down off of a play action pass, and Wallner just overthrew him slightly. He did have a step on number 80, the defender from St.Clairsville. That was Matt Sabatino.
Sabatino, a name normally associated with the Bel-Air area.
Sabatino, an inside linebacker, and doing a good job of.
And here's Wallner over the head again. So now it's 4th down.
And that's the problem when you have someone like Wallner who's a little bit shorter, and you're playing against defense. It makes it difficult to see, and if you can't get to the point where you can throw between defenders, George, you have to get the ball up over the defenders, and that makes the ball sail a little bit, and makes it a difficult catch for the receivers.
For St. Clairsville, number 5, Quirk.
Poor kick, but he gets a good Bellaire roll.
And St. C will have it with 3:55 to play here in the 2nd quarter in a tie ball game.
George, one of the strengths that Bellaire has always had, ever since I've been watching them, and that's been for many, many years, they've always had an outstanding kicking game. They've always had, good placement kickers, good punters, and so on. And I think that's one of the things that has dropped off a little bit for Bellaire this year also. And it's because of the youth and, having young kids in those specialties.
Next Saturday, Akron against Purdue at noon here on Channel 9. A little delay and a little bit of yardage there for Brian Lewis of the Devils.
Brought down by number 35, Benji Littell. And number 36, Brian Mancini.
We'll call it a gain of 4 out to the 46-yard line.
2nd down and 5.
The one difference that I've seen in St. Clairsville from the opening game of the season when we played them and when Edison High School played them is that their ability to run the ball is much better than what it was when we played them. I mean, they were really wide open and threw on almost every down.
Here's Quirk with some protection, but the protection breaks down late. You can only hold the fort for so long.
Brought down by number 61, James Stevie for a loss.
I don't even have him on my program, George, number 61.
I believe they said that was Stevie.
Good penetration by whoever it was, and got to the quarter and give that sack to the defensive secondary because he had to hold the ball too long and gave that defensive line from Bellaire an opportunity to get to the quarterback, and that's a big loss. It's going to bring up 3rd and about 14.
They mark the football at the 37 of St. Clairsville. Quirk is not going to get a chance to get a clean pass away because Derek Bates.
Wow. He got there in a hurry.
Something's wrong. They've got Bates listed in this book at 5'6", 210.
Well, let me see what I have in here. They have him listed at 5'6", 210.
Well, he got there. He looked like a Volkswagen coming through there.
We have a Red Devils timeout.
Timeout, St. C with 2:24 to go in the half. The Buckeyes, hopefully everything is going to be back in order for next week. Ohio State against UCLA, a 3:30 kickoff. Of course, this weekend everything was shut down with respect to college and pro football as a result of the activities in New York and Washington. A good idea, obviously, to not play college and pro football games for a lot of different reasons. I think out of deference, perhaps, for those who are lost. I think the travel problems
sure.
you get into all kinds of complications there, perhaps with air travel. And I tell you, I don't know how you feel about this, Coach, and I can't get into the mind of a terrorist, but sitting in an 80,000 seat stadium right now reminds me of that movie Black Sunday where the blimp came into the Super Bowl. Yeah. I've seen it all this week. A nice punt. And the Reds let it kind of bound around there and almost got somebody in the way of it, which could have been dangerous, but they'll have the football at their own 32-yard line with 2:14 to play.
Stemkowski had a notion to try to field that, and then all of a sudden he just backed off of it. I don't know if he lost it in the sun, but a good decision on the part of Stemkowski to just get out of the way, and good, decent field position now for Bellaire at about their own 32-yard line. So we've had an exchange of punts here. Nobody's been able to move the ball, and it seems like both teams have settled down here and starting to play some pretty good defense.
Liberati back at quarterback, in trouble and incomplete. Bel-Air fans were screaming for an offsides in front of us here.
Adam Snyder, a 6-foot senior, 185-pound, had some pressure on Liberati that time, and Liberati was in the grasp when he got rid of the ball, so an incomplete pass bring up 2nd and 10.
Defenses have turned up the heat a little bit last couple 3 series,
Yep,
Coach.
they sure have.
2nd down and 10. Ball at the Bel-Air 32-yard line, and here's Liberati trying to run away from the rush. Throws and incomplete. Good pass pressure being administered by both teams right now, because I think they both know if you let these quarterbacks stand around and pick out receivers, it's going to create problems in the long haul.
Absolutely. Both teams putting good pass rushes on the quarterbacks. Here you can see number 22 for St.Clairsville, Ryan Baker, putting on a good rush, and then Liberati getting out of the pocket, trying to get it downfield. Incomplete. 3rd and 10.
2 minutes, the time remaining here in the half. Liberati steps up in the pocket, steps back in the pocket, throws a 1st down pitch over the 50 and down to the St. C 45-yard line. Great pass protection right there by the Big Reds. Josh Baldwin made the catch, and it's a 1st down for the Big Reds.
I tell you, for a young kid, Liberati showed a lot of patience. He sat in the pocket, George. He's under a rush right here. You can see he steps up into the pocket. He's looking, and stays real patient. Waits for Baldwin to clear across the middle and delivers a strike.
Well, here comes the St. C defense pouring through. I don't know if we have that or not, but it's a sack all the way back to the 46 of Bel-Air as they call a timeout. After a loss of 9 yards.
Looked like number 56, Jason Jeffy, made the sack, but I didn't pick out the player who tripped up Liberati as he was trying to get out of the pocket.
You know, on that previous play where he stepped up and completed the pass, Coach, I think that kind of gives you an indication of the potential of this kid. He's 6'1", 185 pounds. It's awfully difficult for a sophomore to come into a complex offense like this.
Well, I tell you, it sure is, George, and you know, he's getting better every time I see him. This is the 2nd time I've seen him, and you know, he's much more patient and much more polished in the pocket, and he's going to be an excellent quarterback. You know, he's got 2 more years after this year, so Bellaire's future looks real bright with Dominic Liberati, the potential quarterback over the next couple of years. And I'm sure maybe that's one of the reasons that Coach Magistro is alternating, you know, Matt Wallner and Liberati at the quarterback position, you know, giving Liberati an opportunity to get, you know, some experience.
2nd down and 19. Incomplete, broken up on the way to the ground on the far side of the field as the pass, I believe, was intended for Baldwin. And Ryan Baker, make it Ben Doyle.
Ryan Baker was on the coverage, and you can see just how quick Liberati gets back and gets into the pocket. He has nice footwork, you know, getting away from the center.
Well, here's a kid that could be 6'3", 6'4" by the time he's a senior and way over 200 pounds and be a real good football player here. 3rd down, 19. 1:26 to play in the half. Tie ball game. Liberati tries to elude the rush, and just excellent, relentless penetration and pursuit by the St. C defenders, Adam Snyder.
Liberati's slow getting up. Really got
He's been under siege.
Yeah. You can see right here coming off of the corner, good penetration, makes him step up into the pocket, and when that happens, there you can see Adam Snyder was ready to make the hit.
Historically, Bel-Air has had excellent pass protection for its quarterbacks, but this year they just don't seem to have the whole thing timed along that front. There are times when they do and times when they don't. You saw on that play, as soon as the left tackle got beat to the corner on the play and forced Liberati up. Then there's another defender coming right from the middle. So
that's right, George.
Good job by St. Clairsville.
And I think one of the problems that Bel-Air is experiencing right now is their inability to consistently run the football. If you remember in the years past, George, when they were making the playoffs and Matakowski was here as the quarterback, they also had an effective running game to go with their passing game, and that's something that they're lacking right now. And I know that's probably something that Coach Magistro is going to be working on an awful lot through the course of this season.
And this is where St. C really has to try to get after this. And they do not, and they're going to lose about an additional 25. If that ball's fielded, they've got a chance to maybe start it around their own 35 or 40-yard line, but instead, this is all the way back inside the 15, closer to the 10.
Well, with the wind, whipping the way that it is right now, and you can see from the flag that the wind is sort of blowing across the field right now, and you get an end-over-end kick. Those are really difficult conditions, to field a punt cleanly. So, you have to give a lot of credit to Justin Shepard, the punter for Bel-Air, for getting off a pretty good kick that time.
St. C is going to take a knee here and get out. I think they're perfectly content, and here's what their thinking is, and I like it. They know they're going to get the ball to open a third quarter, preferably from their vantage, and much better field position than where they are right now. And they've come back from 14-14. Why take any risks at this point in time after you've made this nice comeback to tie this football game? To try to do something heroic and go 88 yards is just not likely.
Absolutely, and I agree with Coach Boner 100%. Just run the clock out. Let's get into the locker room tied 14-14. We get the ball, and that should be the last play of this half.
Well, if the second half is as entertaining as the first, then you won't want to miss it. We'll take a break here at Nelson Field and come back and enjoy performances by the respective bands. George Kellis and Rich Walensky at St. C. We're tied at halftime. St. C, I'm sorry, at Bel-Air here on WTOV TV. We are back at Nelson Field at halftime. St. C Red Devils 14, the Bellaire Big Reds 14, and of course, as a show of patriotism, that American flag is not an accident in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. We're going to go down to the field now. The St. Clairsville Marching Band, a diminutive unit, if you will. Not a real big representation here, but I'm sure entertaining. Let's take it down to the field for the St. C Marching Band. righty. We'll be back with the Bellaire Big Reds marching band right after this. Back at Nelson Field, tied 14-14. Bellaire St. C at the half. Let's go to the field again for the Bellaire Big Reds marching band.
Ladies and gentlemen, this past week our freedom came under attack, and because of such an act, we as Americans have reaffirmed our faith and our will to remain a free nation, one nation under God. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless the USA.
Alrighty, we'll be back with the second half kick, and it ought to be a dandy second half here at Nelson Field. We're tied at 14. We're tied at 14-14 here, St. Clairsville and Bel-Air here on the WTOV TV9 Game of the Week. Here's some highlights from the first half. Let's see here. That is Wallner to Josh Baldwin, who turns this into a 33-yard pitch and catch. Now it's Damon Jeffries on a 2-yard plunge. Bel-Air in early control, 14-0. Now it's St. C's Adam Quirk. Nice job to get that pass off to Brett Jordan, 2 yards, 14-6. That sets up another touchdown Quirk wheeling and dealing here. Gets out of a big mess. And you can see the big play right here to Brandon Williams, who takes it deep into Bel-Air territory. Probably the most exciting play in the first half right there. And then the Devils capitalize with Quirk diving in for the touchdown. Now that pulled him within 2 at 14-12. And they would subsequently add a Logan Mell from Adam Quirk 2-yard conversion to tie this game at 14. St. C will get the ball to open the third quarter. Any strategic thoughts approaching the second half, Coach?
George, looking at the some of the first half statistics, St. Clairsville had 27 plays in the first half, and they were about 50-50 between rushing and passing, 67 yards rushing and 66 yards passing.
That St. C was balanced pass and run. That's interesting.
Yeah. And Bellaire, on the other hand, had 32 plays in the first half. They had 18 running plays that gained only 32 yards, and 14 pass plays that gained 78 yards for a total of 110 yards. So
we're pretty even across the board between these two teams.
It's pretty much of a balance between running and passing, and it's evident what both coaches are trying to do is to maintain that balance. However, Bellaire is going to have to do a much better job of rushing the football. They average less than 2 yards per carry with their rushing offense in the first half, and they're going to have to do a much better job here in the second half.
I think some sacks contributed to part of that too.
Both sides, and that would have been true for both sides, because Bellaire was able to get to Adam Quirk a couple times in the first half also.
And the one thing you did see St. C play its opener, I did not. Now on that night they came out with a scheme that they had devised in the preseason that was really almost
bizarre.
Yeah, bizarre. I mean, they had the quarterback in motion, the line lined up on one side of the field, and skilled people over here, and it's almost hard to describe if you haven't seen it. They have certainly adhered to a much more conventional attack here today. In fact, as you pointed out, they're running the ball a lot better. So
absolutely,
I don't think they have to be use as many gadgets. They're getting better, I think, in their offense.
I agree with you, George.
Productivity at this point. Now here they come on the return, and it's a pretty good return out to the 40-yard line. And that's, we pointed that out at the end of the first half when they were buried deep in their own end. They did the smart thing. Just take a knee, get out, don't try to do anything heroic in the last minute, maybe turn the ball over. Now they get a good start here from their own 40.
And Brett Jordan, excuse me, George. Brett Jordan was on the return. He had a real good return also in the first half after one of Bellaire's touchdowns, and he's put the ball in real good field position for St. Clairsville at their own 40-yard line.
Adam Quirk in the shotgun. Quick throw and a completion. Another first down across midfield.
Number 20, Logan Mell.
Logan Mell made the catch.
Number 34,
Logan, a 6-foot, 165-pound junior.
They were giving Logan Mell a big cushion that time. Quirk was able to see it and received the snap and immediately threw the ball. Mell was able to pull up and make the catch and move it upfield for a first down across midfield.
Ball at the Bel-Air 48-yard line. This is incomplete. Brett Jordan was the intended receiver. It was a little high. He did get his hands on it. But Bel-Air did have Josh Baldwin in the area, and that was a potential problem here for St. C if, in fact, this gets tipped into the hands.
Yep, sure was, George. It was close to an interception. Jordan open, however, the ball delivered a little bit too high, wasn't able to handle it, but so far in this half, the short passing game has been there for St. Clairsville on 2 successive plays.
One of the Big Reds on the right tackle.
Number 74, that's Derek Bates, a junior. He's that guy that's listed at 5'6", 210. Got into the neutral zone, so it's going to cost Big Red 5 yards.
Second down now for the Red Devils.
Second down and 5.
I think what St. C certainly figured, look, they're getting so much pass pressure on us on deep drops. We better set up some short drops and get rid of this thing.
And so far
good.
in this half, Bel-Air secondary has been giving the wide receivers from St. Clairsville a little bit of a cushion, which also opens up that underneath passing game as well.
Quirk looks, throws, incomplete. The intended receiver on that play was Eric Gay.
Defending for the Big Reds, number 8.
First time they've tossed the ball in his direction.
Pretty good job by Ben Doyle, the defensive end on this side. He's able to keep outside leverage on the ball. You can see, George, he doesn't get caught to the inside, and he's able to put a little bit of pressure on Quirk, make him hurry his throw a little bit, but he did have a receiver coming open on a deep sideline pattern.
We've run off a whopping 37 seconds here in the third quarter.
This is like the 5th play of this drive.
They did not have that ball marked properly after the penalty. It was it was closer to 4 yards to a first down. Now I think they've got it placed right. All right. From the 43-yard line, Quirk, not this time. He was going to run that draw and is smothered for a loss.
Brought down by number 61.
61 for Bel-Air, did a great job of holding his own and not getting turned to the outside. And again, we don't have him listed in our program, so can't give him credit, but he did a good job.
We can give him credit, we just can't give his name right. There he is. The unknown assassin here for the Bel-Air defense.
Number 80, Matt Sabatino.
They're coming. Sabatino gets a squirrely kind of a kick down the field. It was only about 8 feet off the ground, but spiraling. Now Bel-Air gets a decent return back out to its own 30-yard line.
Stemkowski does a nice job of fielding the ball on one bounce and getting it up to around the 30-yard line. So it's about a 15-yard return on his part, and puts Bel-Air in pretty decent field position to start their first drive of this half. St. Clairsville has another injury. And the medical
Brett Jordan
staff
was a little nicked earlier, and we'll see what this is. Bel-Air 14, St. C 14. George Kellis and Coach Rich Walensky enjoying another beautiful Saturday afternoon of high school football here in the waning days of the summer.
That's number 83, who is injured, George, for St. Clairsville. It's Josh Newell, member of the special teams, and again, it looks like it might be a shoulder or an arm, and we certainly hope that there isn't anything real seriously wrong.
.10:35 to play in the third quarter. A hand here for Newell as he departs. Newell, a junior, 5'10", 180. Definitely a shoulder, a collarbone, something of that nature. Here is Bel-Air on its first offensive play of the second half, and their difficulties in getting unwound in the running game continue, at least on that play, with Damon Jeffries getting perhaps a yard.
Jeffries real effective on the second touchdown drive for Bel-Air. Carried the ball successively about 4 or 5 times and was able to punch it in for Bel-Air's second score.
2nd and 9 for the Reds. They give to the tailback, and he is knocked aside at the 34-yard line after a gain of a couple, maybe 3. Be third down and a long 6 yards here for the Bel-Air Big Red offense.
All of Big Red's offensive linemen on the right side blocking down, and big number 35, that's Benji Littell, leading the blocking there, and leads the ball carrier for a gain, bring up 3rd and 6.
Wallner on a drop is hit as he throws, and I think that the pressure was the problem.
And the
I think
guy
that was
putting
Quirk.
on the pressure was Adam Quirk from his defensive end spot.
Quirk says, "I've been beat up enough. I'm gonna beat you up."
Here it is, and he's coming from the right of your screen. beating the blocker and getting to Matt just as he delivers the ball. That's Matt Wallner.
And the Reds on 4th and 6. Low punt. Will be fielded this time by Jordan. He sidesteps a guy, and he's up the field over the 50, and a great effort by Brett Jordan to take it back to the Bel-Air 46-yard line.
Well,
Jordan with some slick moves.
He's a fine return man, George. You know, he's returned a couple of kickoffs and put the ball in real good field position for St.Clairsville, and here he is on a punt return. Is able to avoid a couple tackles, some nifty moves, and gets it up over the 50. And St.Clairsville is in great field position at Bel-Air's 46-yard line.
Quirk. Almost intercepted. There were 2 Big Reds as that thing was swatted. Oh my goodness, that just had to look like a big old beach ball right in their face. Couldn't pull it in.
Absolutely, and you know, although Bel-Air's defensive line didn't get the sack, George, they got a great push on the offensive line of St.Clairsville. And you know, you teach defensive linemen, if you can't get to the quarterback as soon as he cocks his arm, get those hands up, and somebody in that defensive interior did the job and was able to knock the ball away. 2nd and 10.
At the Bel-Air 46-yard line. Quirk trying to roll, and he's now going to commit to the run and gain 6 yards down inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. Adam Quirk.
Eric Gay, number 7, broke open deep down the field, right along the hash mark, and Quirk was, of course, running for his life and wasn't able to see him, but if he would have and was able to deliver the ball, it might have been a sure touchdown for St.Clairsville.
Good all-around football player, certainly Adam Quirk, and a guy who's good in the classroom, so some colleges, I'm sure, are going to take a look at him. You remember last year, Coach, he was slinging it out there to the tune of about 2,300 yards.
Yeah. And, you know, he looks much bigger than 5'11" to me, George. I've watched him play basketball, and he seems to be taller than that, but, you know, they have him listed at 5'11", 180.
3rd down and 4. Quirk rolls this way. Quirk is hit, and down he goes.
Benji Littell came up from his linebacker spot and really put a hit on Quirk. Bring up 4th down, and again, give a lot of credit to that Bel-Air secondary. You know, they're just not letting anybody come open, and they're doing a good job of keeping those receivers covered and giving that defensive front 4 or 6 of Bel-Air time to get to the quarterback and in this instance sack him.
Sabatino, the junior, will kick from his own 45-yard line. Stemkowski is deep for the Reds.
Nice kick.
And a bounce that is, my goodness, it dies right at the goal line.
And it's not a touchback either, George. It's got to be nudging that thing really close. That thing has just died inside the 1-yard line, very close to the goal line.
A huge break for the Red Devils on special teams. We'll be back after this break. But wait, whoa. What do we got?
We got a flag. So we're going to see what it is. It looks like it's going to go against St.Clairsville.
And I can assure you, they will be asked to punt the football once
Absolutely.
again. That's a real shame for St. C. You couldn't ask for a better scenario following a punt, but they're going to have to kick again. Bel-Air figures to come out of this in better shape unless they mishandle the football.
Boy, this is a long one too, George. This is a 10-yard penalty for holding against St. Clairsville. And boy, I tell you, what a big turnaround this has been. Instead of Bel-Air having 1st and 10 from inside their own 1-yard line, I'm sure they'll get the ball in much better field position this time.
They send 2 men back now. Baldwin along with Stemkowski. And it's blocked, and this is a huge turnaround. That whole sequence of events cost St. Clairsville 67 yards of field position.
And number 61, the unknown assassin, was there to block, and he made great penetration. Watch him come right up the middle, George. Here he is, gets his hands up and is able to block the ball, and boy, what a change of events this is.
In football terms, a disaster for St. C. They would have had Bel-Air backed up to their own goal line. Now the Reds have it first down at the St. Clairsville 33-yard line. That's the kind of play that can turn the whole scheme around.
Dominic Liberati in at the quarterback position now.
Rieger, the ball carrier. Approach the 7-minute mark of the third quarter in what is still a 14-14 football game.
That's a gain of about 3 on just a lead play over the right side, and bring up 2nd and 7 now. And that St. Clairsville defense is really going to have to
look at the American
tighten
flag,
up now.
Coach. There for a second, it is gorgeous, and just the way it just kind of floats up there majestically today.
Yeah.
But there's a light breeze there for a second. It almost looked like it was in slow motion. That's a good run for a first down as they start to get something humming on the ground. Jeremy Rieger, again the ball carrier, 1st and 10 Bel-Air.
Rieger did a nice job. He started to his left, and then he was able to bounce it to the outside. St. Clairsville defense got caught inside on this, and here you can see that he uses some nice speed to get to the outside, does a good job of cutting back, and then takes a real good hit, but not until after he got the first down, so Bel-Air's on the move.
Boy, a break or two on special teams can make a huge impact in a football game like this. What we saw a minute ago certainly has at this juncture. Now they're fighting ahead hard. Bel-Air running with a little bit more sense of purpose.
Damon Jeffries inside, just a fullback, straight fullback handoff, and picks up about 4, maybe 3. He's going to bring up 2nd and about 6.
One of the things I like about this rivalry is that there are quality people involved on this thing. And I can tell you that because I have personal relationships with both staffs, and there are quality people involved in this, looking at it from both perspectives. When this is over with, these guys are going to shake hands and they're going to go on.
Absolutely. Number 56 from St. Clairsville, that's Jason Jeffy, has been injured and is coming out of the game. He's one of those inside linebackers that has played really, really well for St. Clairsville so far this afternoon. And I know that Coach Boner is hoping that there's nothing seriously wrong so that they can get him back in there, because he is a big part of their defense.
Well, Dave Hanna, the trainer, has been a busy guy here in the third quarter. 2nd down. Now I think the Red Devils have intruded upon the neutral zone here.
And that's at Dominic Liberati gave him a real hard count that time. All of Bel-Air's offensive linemen were able to hold it, and they drew St. Clairsville into the neutral zone. So 5-yard penalty. It's going to bring up 2nd and about 2.
Ball is now all the way down to the St. C 13. Rieger for a first down as he slashes inside the 10. What is it that happens sometimes, Coach? You're struggling to run the ball. You can't get anything humming on the ground, and then all of a sudden the thing starts to click.
Well, I don't know if there's an explanation for it, George. I think it probably has something to do with maybe, Bel-Air catching St. Clairsville in some slants in their offensive line, and they just happen to be, guessing, which way they're going, and it's opening up some seams inside.
The fullback is rumbling down to the goal line. He's very close. He is not in. Now he's in. A very, very, very late call, and finally Bel-Air gets the touchdown with Damon Jeffries.
Okay, I could see it from here that he was in for the score, but it took the officials a long time, maybe because they were shielded from the play. But Jeffries' real determined run right here is able to take it across the goal line and into the end zone for the score.
So Bel-Air, which scored the first 14 and then saw that lead evaporate, comes back now and takes a 21-14 lead. 4:59 to go in the third quarter. 21-14 Bel-Air. This is high school football on WTOV TV9. So Bel-Air has responded here, given that opportunity with a turnabout on special teams, and now they get a good kickoff, and we'll see if in fact The Red Devils have another counter punch here with Brett Jordan, and Brett Jordan is on the move. Jordan out over the 45, the 50-yard line, and Brett Jordan makes some things happen. He's got good football instincts.
Yes, he does, George. He's able to find the open area, make a cut when he needs to, and I'll tell you, if I was Bellaire, I'd certainly kick the ball away from him, because every time he's touched it on a kickoff or a punt return, he's really had excellent returns.
And that's one thing that St. C has had throughout the course of this game, is some good starting positions. They have the ball right here at the Bel-Air 49 for openers on this drive. 4:48 to play here in quarter number 3. Jordan comes off the field now, and in his place is Matt St. John. St. John, a junior.
Well, we'll see if St. C can do something with this good field position that their special teams have given them. I tell you, Quirk has been under a big rush on the last series that they had, and wasn't able to complete a pass.
Quirk out of the gun, and they're coming at him again. He throws the high fade down the field, incomplete.
Number 9 against number 9.
Brandon Williams, the intended receiver, and Josh Baldwin on the coverage.
Not a bad play, though, to start this on first down. They had a good return. Want to try to strike quick, and Quirk is letting that defensive secondary know that he's got the arm to go deep if he needs to, and so that's really not a bad play for St. Clairsville, even though the pass was incomplete.
2nd down and 10. Well, they finally run this thing here with Jordan.
Nice
what a cutback by Jordan. That hadn't worked in earlier attempts, but that time they executed it real well, and Jordan, man, he stopped on a dime and was going in a different direction in a sudden hurry.
That's what I was going to say. He came to almost a complete stop. Good kick out block right here. He cuts inside block. Now watch this move right there.
Whoa, man. You could see the defender. His shoes went one way and his body went the other.
And then he gets some additional yards after he was hit.
1st down, St. C at the Bel-Air 29. The Reds lead the Red Devils 21-14. Blockers out in front, and here goes Quirk. Quirk will get about 7 or 8.
Running game starting to come to life again. That looked like a run all the way with Quirk sprinting out to his right, and got close to, got better than 9 yards. It's going to bring up 2nd and short, and let's see if Coach Boner decides to maybe go for the end zone here on 2nd and short with a little play action. He's got 4 wide receivers, 3 to one side, 1 to the other.
No, they're going to go for the 1st down, and they get a loss. Good penetration by the Bel-Air defense.
Number 61, George.
Here's our man.
We got to find out who that is.
He might be our.
He could be the player of the game for Bellaire. There it is. Good penetration. The guard's pulling, and number 61 gets right into his hip pocket, and makes the tackle from behind. Good defensive play.
Pass over the middle on a nice slant and hook up for a 1st down.
Pass complete that time to number 9, Brandon Williams, and he's had a few catches right over the middle, and Quirk comes back to it for the 1st down. He's just going to hook up right between the linebackers. There he is right there. And I'll tell you, I give Brandon Williams a lot of credit, George. Remember that hit he took in the 1st half coming across the middle, but he comes across the middle again and makes a good catch, knowing he's probably going to get slammed again.
You betcha. 1st down, St. C. The ball is at the Bel-Air 12. Quirk, this is a run all the way. Quirk turns it back inside the 5 and down to about the 3-yard line. That's a solid 9-yard gain and puts them in a very ideal offensive situation with a 3rd and 1 inside the 5-yard.
That's right, George. And you know, they can get a first down at about the 2-yard line, and
gives them a lot of options.
Sure
right here.
does. It absolutely does.
Second down and, well, about a yard.
And I tell you, he's got room to sneak it too. Ooh, I don't know. He reached the ball across the goal line, but they're not going to mark it a touchdown. They're not going to signal a touchdown, but they will mark it very, very close to the goal line, and that will give them a first down.
Yeah, they'll have first down at point-blank range. Get another look at it. Bel-Air did a good job of keeping him running laterally for a long period of time, and he's pushed.
Watch him. Watch the ball, George.
I think he, though, if you see where his knees are, they may have been out of bounds.
Yeah.
But look where they got this thing marked.
That's about where the punt roll did before they had the holding penalty.
St. C with a chance to get to within a point. Quirk trying to get in there and does on a sneak. Adam Quirk. That was a masterful drive engineered by Quirk, but keep in mind that Brett Jordan's kickoff return is as important as anything else that you saw in that sequence.
And also the nice run by Brett Jordan on the counter back to the inside, George, was also a big play for them too.
This is a very, very important conversion attempt. It's 21-20. Mel will hold. Oh, it's a fake. And the throw is in and out of the hands.
What a gutsy call by Coach Boner. I tell you, little gimmick play on the attempt at point. Instead of going for the kick, they went for the 2-point conversion. Pass deep into the end zone. And,
oh my goodness. It was there. We'll be back. Bel-Air by 1. There is Adam Quirk, who has engineered the drive to pull St. C back to within a point at 21-20. 2:13 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Devils kicking off. It's another short squibby. And, Bel-Air will have it at midfield. That almost turned into major things for the Big Reds. Darren Michael. I don't know if they're trying to squib these things further down the field and they're just not getting them there.
I don't know what they're trying to do, George, but you know, they haven't been real successful on with their kicking game from placement. So maybe that's why they're trying to to squib it or do whatever they're doing with it.
All right, here's Bel-Air with great field position. Wallner under a serious rush, almost throws an interception. Wow.
I tell you, that was close to being grounding too. But I tell you, I didn't see any receiver in the area, and as he's going down to avoid the sack, he just gets rid of it.
So that's the best case scenario right there for Bel-Air.
Yeah, this is Adam Quirk putting the pressure on him.
Wow. I wonder if Quirk seems like he likes playing defense and getting after quarterbacks as much as he enjoys doing the other stuff.
Well, I'll tell you, he's got good speed, and he got to Wallner very, very quickly.
2nd down and 10. The Reds got a big break there to stay out of a big hole, and Rieger looked like he got away from an initial tackler, but short yardage. It'll be 3rd and 9 here for Bel-Air. They lead 21-20. Under 2 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter.
Cody Starkey, the inside linebacker, 54, did a good job of flowing to the football, George. The defensive lineman kept those guys off of him, and he comes in and makes a real nice hit right here on the ball carrier for a short gain. 3rd and 9.
Play fake. Wallner double pumps it. Are you serious? It's caught. Brilliant reception. When he let that go, I thought the ball was going to go out of bounds, and it hung up there, and Stemkowski somehow pulled it in.
That was a great catch by Stemkowski.
And Mark Boner is not a happy camper. I think he believes that the ball was being juggled as it went out of bounds. I have no idea if we're going to get a good look at this or not. Hopefully we will.
Watch his feet, George. That's the question. Well, we can't see. Did he come? Did he have a foot in?
I don't think we'll ever know.
No.
1st and 10. Bel-Air gets out of a 3rd and long, and now they're banging away again inside the 20. Jeremy Rieger, who has certainly been a bellwether of this offense today.
He's got the he's had the majority of the carries, I think, for the Bellaire running game. Number 56 comes in for St. Clairsville. He's the young guy that was hurt, Jason Jeffy, that was hurt and had to come out of the game on Belaire's last possession.
Jeffries continues to advance the football. Bel-Air now on a 3rd and 4.
He's a nice looking running back, George. He's only a junior, but at 5'9", 210, he's only going to get better next year and actually better with every game.
St. C might be offside again. Stops the clock with 8 seconds to go. That would have been probably the last play of the 3rd quarter, but they're going to get another opportunity because...
And they're going to get a first down,
yeah, they
too.
sure are. Whoa!
Wow.
See if we got that again. I just want to take a look at that. The St. C players committed. You see John Magistro this time. Doesn't look like he's on the same wavelength with the stripes.
Let's see if anybody here moves.
Maybe, I think they're saying maybe the left tackle leaned a little bit. I don't know.
I didn't see any movement at all on the part of Bel-Air.
First time we've seen a little animation out of John, so time does expire at the end of 3 here at Nelson Field. It's Bel-Air 21, St. Clairsville 20. This is high school football on WTOV TV 9. We have returned to action. Here is Wallner scrambling, rumbling, bumbling, and tripped up from behind. Bring up 4th down. Good pressure again by St. Clairsville, and it seemed like they had that pressure coming from different angles.
That was number 33, defensive end, Brian Lewis. Coming here, you can see he gets blocked, but you know, he stays after him. There's a lot of pressure coming from the outside and the inside, and then shows his speed and his determination by getting to Wallner and creating a 4th and about 9 from inside the 20-yard line of St. Clairsville.
Well, this is a very important play for both teams. Make no mistake. There is the fade to the far side. The pass is incomplete. No foul on the play, and St. Clairsville is held. Will take over.
That was intended for Stemkowski, running a fade pattern down the right sideline, but excellent coverage by number 9, Brandon Williams, right here. Both going for the ball, and no call and the right call, incomplete.
1st and 10 Red Devils. They have the ball at their own 19-yard line. They trail by a point.
Nothing doing that time on a running play, opening up this series for St. Clairsville. Corners that time for Bel-Air, both corners playing very, very soft on the wide receivers. And we'll see if that's something that St. Clairsville's coaches in the box have picked up, and see if they go to a short passing game that was real effective for them earlier.
2nd and 9 after that short yardage play. Quirk throws. Jordan caught it. We'll see where they mark his forward progress.
That was Stemkowski on the hit. Jordan really a nice looking runner when he gets his hands on the football. He's very, very strong also. That time he took a pretty solid hit from Stemkowski and was still able to keep his feet and get upfield for a couple of extra yards. He's going to bring up 3rd and about 6, George.
Under 10 minutes to play. Under pressure, in big trouble. And the right tackle just got beat like a drum. And it was Todd Poe.
Seems like very possibly that offensive line of St. Clairsville is starting to get a little tired now, George.
Well, you can see Poe is just going to come right around the corner.
Yeah, he
beats his man badly, and nowhere to go, nowhere to hide for Adam Quirk. Punt formation here. Ball is fielded by Josh Baldwin, and Baldwin on the return. Then there's a penalty marker.
That could be a face mask. I didn't see anybody else in that area except the tackler and the ball carrier.
The return to the 38-yard line of St. Clairsville.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it, see what...
It is a mask.
Yeah. Now, he did not signal personal foul. We'll see if he does it this time, George. If he does, that'll be a 15-yarder.
The inadvertent is what, 5?
Yeah. And
I think that's what this is going to be.
Yeah, it sure looks like it. Yeah, that's what it is. They're going to penalize him 5 yards.
First and 10. Bel-Air at the St. C 34-yard line.
It behooves St. Clairsville to not let Bel-Air score right here.
Oh, ball is mishandled back in the backfield, recovered by the Reds. And a couple of their own guys collided with one of the Red Devils back there, kind of disrupting things.
They're trying to run a counter, and ball handling, just wasn't right. The timing wasn't right. The ball went down on the ground, and fortunately for Bel-Air, they were able to recover, bring up 2nd and 14.
Well, I have no idea exactly how that was conceived, but I'm not. Something tells me that is not exactly how John Magistro had that play drawn up.
I don't think so. I don't think that John Magistro is going to be real happy with this drive at all. It looks like Dominic Liberati is looking for someone to give the ball to, but nobody
wants it. Dude, guy said, I don't want this thing.
But I'll tell you, he did a good job as he was going down. He got rid of the ball and completed a pass for a loss of about 4 yards. So now it's 3rd and 18. Plenty of time. Ooh,
oh, and a nice defensive play at the last minute. A lot of deception took place there. Looked like they were running a delay, and then, of course, Liberati had plenty of time. Brandon Williams stepped up and swatted it down.
Pass was intended for number 7, Benny Doyle, and I'll tell you, if Williams would have been able to catch that ball, it would have been very, very difficult, I think, for anybody to catch him. He may have taken it all the way to the house.
Liberati had so much time. The intended receiver on that play was Ben Dewitt. So Bel-Air will try to retain good field position here. Ball may have been partially deflected, or certainly the punter was bothered on that play, Coach, and so St. C might get respectable field position out of this.
Great pressure by Adam Snyder, one of the linebackers, coming up inside, and got his hand up and may have got a hand on it. We really couldn't tell, but it went off either that or went off the side of the punter's foot, and pretty good field position. Actually, St. Clairsville gained a little bit on the exchange of punts right here.
7:31 to play in the football game. 21-20 Bel-Air. The Red Devils have it 1st and 10 at their own 31. Quirk incomplete. I think Quirk would like to have an opportunity to throw that pass again.
Number 9, Brandon Williams, seems to be the guy that Quirk is looking for most of the time, and you know, that time he got flushed out of the pocket. And you know, George, Bel-Air is doing this with their front four. They're not sending a lot of people like they were in the first half, and you know, so you know, give those 4 down linemen for St. Clair's or for Bel-Air an awful lot of credit, because they're doing a great job. Number 56 in there, doing a good job. That's Todd Poe from his defensive end position.
Intercepted! Oh, what a play!
Maurice
Jeffries, a sophomore. That's a tough play to make because the ball is coming with some velocity on it.
Absolutely, and it's real. He showed some real soft hands right here. Again, Quirk gets flushed out of there. And look at that, just steps in front of the receiver, number 20, Mel, and is able to take the ball and step out of bounds.
Well, give Bel-Air's defense some credit. They've been able to force a couple of picks here this afternoon. They lead with 7:16 to go. We're going to take a timeout. Bel-Air 21, St. Clairsville 20. This is high school football on WTOV 9. Nelson Field. No place quite like it on a Saturday afternoon in late summer, early fall, as John Magistro calls out the plays. Here's a sweep to the right. Now the cutback. And a good job right there by Jeremy Rieger. I know we're going to be asked by the truck to start giving some players some consideration. Let's see, we got to get a player of the game for both sides, and we've also got to give a tough as nails. I'm going to throw 3 names at you to mull over, and then you can come back with some other suggestions. Okay. Because I've been thinking about this. Tough as nails, I'm thinking Brett Jordan's been pretty good in that respect.
Sure has.
Best players on either side. I like Rieger has been, I think, pretty consistent, and I think certainly Adam Quirk deserves it. They're all seniors. So.
But I'll tell you, this guy's done a good job carrying the ball inside for Bel-Air. George, that's Damon Jeffries has been doing a good job for Bel-Air. You know, he's getting the tough yards inside the tackles.
It's been an unspectacular performance from Bel-Air with a lot of contributors. It's hard to point out individuals with the way things have been coming today. And I think that's been the important message the coaches have been trying to send to these guys. They want them to play more as a team. It's been a difficult situation to mesh this thing chemistry-wise this year. You've got a lot of seniors and a lot of sophomores.
You know, I'll tell you who else has had you know, a good game defensively for Bel-Air is our mysterious number 61.
Yes.
And you know, he's done a good job of you know, putting a lot of heat on Adam Quirk and forcing them out of the pocket.
I think he blocked that punt earlier too.
Has knocked down a couple balls you know, intended for receivers.
Be no disrespect for him to share in the kudos here today.
Yeah.
2nd down and 5. And Rieger, as the Reds continue to try to work the clock now, down under 5:35.
And they're going to be close to a 1st down. You know, they're in 4-down territory right now, George. They've got 3rd and a little more than a yard. We'll call it 2, and but they've got 2 downs to make 2 yards.
Ball is at the St. C 13-yard line. That's a good call right there.
Sure is.
Quick sneak by Wallner, who wasted no time just surging.
And a good push by the offensive line from Bel-Air. And, you know, those guys go nameless most of the time, but, you know, there's 57, Matt Duvall doing a good job in that offensive line.
1st and goal, Bel-Air at the St. C 9-yard line. 5 minutes to play.
There's a little mix-up in a handoff. That's going to cost Bel-Air a couple yards.
Jeffries wound up with it in his hands.
Also,
Quirk,
number 55, T.J. Heath, anchoring that line at center for Bel-Air. And he's only a junior, George. 6'2", 198. Nice-looking athlete.
Well, here, after this play, I want to explain what I think are all of the little things to look ahead to in the final 5 minutes of this game. What options the two teams have at their disposal. Rieger with a cutback.
Nice
He's going
move.
for a touchdown.
Tell you, he left two Bel-Air guys laying on the ground by making a real nice sharp cut back to the inside. Just a quick flip out to the right.
You're right. You'll see two defenders that were grabbing nothing but grass in their knuckles face down after he makes this move.
There it is right there. Made two guys miss and made a nifty move to the inside for the score. And George, we had talked about whether they go for one or two, and they're going to go for one.
And it's kind of botched. Wallner just throws it away. Now, that kind of leaves the door cracked open for St. C.
Absolutely.
27-20, the Bel-Air lead. We'll be right back.
Hi.
We have returned. 4:46 to play. Bel-Air has a 27-20 lead in this game. They have never trailed. They jumped out 14-0. St. C came back to tie the game at 14 going into the half. Bel-Air regained the lead. St. C then subsequently scored, but then failed on a fake 2-point conversion. Bel-Air has now added to the lead. This is a short kick.
It's a live ball, and number 33 for St. C wisely gets to the ball very, very quickly. It's number 33, the running back Brian Lewis, only a junior, 6 foot 175. We'll see what St. C can do with it now. And Bel-Air has played some really inspired defense here in the fourth quarter. They've done a good job of not giving St. Clairsville anything deep, and they've been able to put some pressure on Adam Quirk too.
First and 10. St. C starts at its own 27. They've got to make it happen on this drive. Incomplete. Jordan, the intended receiver, and I think Brett feels like he should have had it.
Benji Littell on the coverage that time from his linebacker spot. There are four receivers set out here to the right of the St. Clairsville formation, and number 5, Brett Jordan, was running a crossing pattern. Nice touch on the ball, but just a little bit too high, and Jordan was not able to handle it. 2nd and 10. Same formation.
Quirk throws, has Jordan.
Whoa.
And he is smacked down. Stemkowski. And now a penalty marker in the air.
That's right. And they're going to penalize Bel-Air for unsportsmanlike conduct for celebrating after the hit. You're going to see it right here. This is Jordan running an out pattern from his inside receiver position. There's the hit, a good hit too by Stemkowski. Now watch him. And that Keith Bloom got on it right away, threw the flag, and it cost Bel-Air 15 yards.
How much leeway do you have nowadays with these kinds of things?
I don't know, Georgia.
Where do they draw the line? I don't know.
Sometimes, you see officials let kids get away with a lot of stuff, and then something like this, they call it right away. And
first down, St. C from the 47-yard line. Quirk on the go. Better cover up the football. Quirk gets out of bounds after a pretty good gain.
He's going to be close to the first down marker. He took a hit over there once he stepped out of bounds too.
So St. C has now advanced the football from their own 27 to the Bel-Air 47 in short order. 4:09 to play. Plenty of time here. Bel-Air 27, St. C 20. It's one of the few times that Quirk has operated under center, and they fumbled.
They fumbled the ball. At least in this half, George, they they were in a more conventional set a little more often in the first half than what they have been in the second. They've been mostly in the shotgun here in the second half, and that, as you pointed out, that's one of the few times that Quirk was under the center.
And after you haven't done it for a while, you get a different feel.
Absolutely.
3rd down and 4. St. C at the Bel-Air 47. I'm certain they're in a 4-down situation right here, even though that the field position may not dictate that. They have all their timeouts left. Quirk, he's got run all the way and throws, has a man open with the ball hung up in the air, and it's intercepted again by 34, and he's still on the go. Maurice Jeffries.
I'll tell you,
was it me, or did that ball look like it hung up in that
sure
brisk,
did, George.
kind of a brisk wind that we've got going here right now?
Yes, it did, because I'll tell you, he had number 9, Brandon Williams, wide open. He had beaten the defender, and here you can see, Quirk he's running toward the line of scrimmage, but you can see that the ball hangs up just a little bit, and
you saw where Jeffries was.
Yeah, he was 4 yards
4
behind.
to 5 yards behind the defender. I don't know whether that was just underthrown or whether the wind got it. Oh, I know this, they can't get enough people off the field. St. C has come unglued. They do have all of their timeouts left, but Jeffries has sure come out of nowhere to make some plays here in the last couple of series, ain't it?
2 interceptions for Jeffries.
A sophomore. So they've got a lot of confidence, obviously, in a sophomore to put him out there on an island man-to-man against Brandon Williams in that situation.
George, I don't have the statistics in front of me, but if my memory serves me right, I think that's the 3rd interception.
It is the 3rd, Coach, you're right.
That Quirk has thrown, which is unusual for him, and he's had a couple passes batted down at the line of scrimmage also, and had a couple balls that were almost intercepted. Well, with 3 minutes left to go in the game, it seems like Bellaire is going to be content with to attempt to run the ball and force Bellaire to use those timeouts.
And St. C has all of its 3 timeouts remaining here.
And I think Coach Boner is going to have to seriously think about starting to use some of those timeouts.
Help me here for a second. How did they get into a 1st and 5? Was there a penalty? Now it's 2nd.
Yeah, they did. St. Clairsville had too many men on the field. They were trying to get one off and couldn't get them off.
Littell. Now St. C calls its first timeout as Bel-Air is facing a 3rd down and 4.
St. C has a guy down on one knee. I think it's number 72. Chad Hill, a defensive tackle, who made that tackle on Benji Littell.
I'll tell you what, it's hard for me to fathom that St. C is facing the possibility of an 0-4 start.
Well, I'll tell you, isn't it something?
They're a pretty good 0-3 team.
Yes, they are.
They have their deficiencies, make no mistake about that, but they've also got a quarterback who has few peers, and a player the caliber of Jordan and some other kids that are improving.
Yeah, I've been impressed with that little number 9 for St. Clairsville. Has shown
Williams.
some real mettle, going across the middle and making some tough catches. And of course, he could have been a big hero if
I thought that was there.
Oh yeah, I did too.
He's sitting up here in the front, I'm saying, oh, he's going to make it happen big here, and it just seemed like the ball died or something. I don't know.
Well, Bel-Air facing a situation here. It's 3rd and about 4. It would be great if they could get the 1st down as far as being able to maintain, the clock.
Quick pitch. Littell short of the 1st down, I think. I don't know where he ultimately was toppled.
It looks like he may have stepped out of bounds, George. But I tell you, it's going to be closer than what I thought it was going to be. They got
1st down. Oh, it looked like they had him about 2 yards shy of that,
sure
and
did.
Apparently he just would not be denied.
That was a gutsy run by Benji Littell that time. And, you know, he hasn't really touched the ball a whole lot today. But when in this instance he got the yards that were needed, just a good hard-nosed run right here.
Look, at the end of the play,
looks like he's out of bounds right there, but he keeps his feet and he's able to lunge forward for the first down. Damon Jeffries, the ball carrier that time, and
now
he and Maurice brothers, George, Damon Jeffries and Maurice Jeffries.
I would be remiss to say I knew for sure in this case. 2 minutes, a 2-minute warning, if you will. Second down and 5 for Bel-Air, and it's getting down now to where they have only one timeout left, and they have got to prevent Bel-Air from getting a first down on this series, or they're going to run into a clock problem.
That is absolutely correct, George. They have 2 minutes left and 2 timeouts left, according to the scoreboard.
Bel-Air 27, St. Clairsville 20. It has been a very competitive football game, a very entertaining game.
George, have you noticed high school defensive coordinators always seem to be the guys that are the muscular, physique type looking guys that wear their baseball hats backwards, and you know,
has it always been that way?
No, you know, I can't remember, you know, that being the case, but you know, it seems like those guys are really the real emotional and motivational guys, you know, on the sideline.
Whoa. They let him loose, still going, and a great effort right there. Damon Jeffries was wrapped up, but not wrapped up tightly enough back for what might have been even a 1-yard loss initially. So now they take the last time out, and St. Clairsville is in a situation right here. We take another look at this. Look at the effort. He's stalemated right there. He eludes a tackle from Brett Jordan and keeps fighting for some pretty good yardage. Big difference between 3rd and 5 or 6 here and 3rd and 2. Okay, let's take a look at these players of the game.
Okay. Okay, I agree with you with Adam Quirk. You know, for St. Clairsville, he's done a good job on the defensive side of the ball as well, and you know, he's thrown the ball, he's run the ball very, very well, and so, you know, I like him, and I also like Brett Jordan as well.
There we have it. Adam Quirk and Jeremy Rieger are the Red Donnelly Scholarship players of the game, and our unknown Big Red. I've been advised that his name is Stevens. He's not on the roster here. Would certainly deserve some serious consideration for that Tough as Nails award. Inside handoff, first down. And here is the true value, Tough as Nails player of the game, Brett Jordan.
He's had a great game, you know, catching the ball. George ran a couple of real nice counters for St. Clairsville. Great returning kickoffs and punts, and I think that's a good choice. Well, Bel-Air really in a driver's seat here now, George. The clock is running at 1:27. They've got a 1st and 10 at the St. Clairsville 45-yard line. They're going to milk the clock, take as much time in the huddle as is possible, and walk up to the line. And you know, we're going to be under a minute after this play is run.
I think they may have a delay of game right here.
Taking too much time. And that's got to upset Coach Magistro just a little bit, you know, to run that much time off the clock and then have the clock stopped as a result of a delay of game penalty.
Still at this point, Coach, you're looking at a minute 8, no timeouts, 3 knees and out of here.
But you never know, George. There's always that possibility of
the miracle at the Meadowlands.
Yeah.
Well, that's why, you know, I'm a real advocate. There is no exchange in this situation. You don't ever give the ball off to somebody. I'm a big advocate of the knee.
I
seen
agree.
too many things.
I agree.
First thing, you got to make sure you get that exchange from center. That could be. Oh, look at this run. Look at this effort.
Wow.
Damon Jeffries
I tell you, Coach Magistro may have found himself a running back. And that's just a fullback dive off the right side, George, and nothing fancy. Here it is, boom, and
he's a prototype
yeah.
at 5'9", 210, and only a junior.
And he made a real nice little move to the outside to find a crack, and then just look at him plow and how many guys it takes from St. Clairsville to get him down. And the good thing was he stayed in bounds. This could be the last play of the game.
Liberati under center.
Give it to Jeffries again. And that should be the last play. I don't even think they'll have to come out of the huddle, George. Now St. Clairsville uses their last timeout. So there will be one more play.
I was thinking they were out of timeouts. I was erroneous. We had some great games this year. Boy, there was a game last night at Morristown between Union Local and Martins Ferry. I don't know if you heard.
Wow, I read about that in this morning's paper. 43-41
in overtime at Donnybrook.
And Jake makes the gutsy call of going for 2 in overtime. Well, I'll tell you, he really has a nice football team this year.
He does, and I'm glad for him, because I mean he's taken a lot of heat in recent years. I mean, there are a lot of people that are trying to shove him out the door, and he's really a good man.
Oh,
he really is.
Yeah, Jake and I go way back to the 60s coaching against each other, and always did a good job. That should be it, George.
Yep. By the time they get this spotted, Bel-Air will not need run another play as Mark Boner heads across to shake the hands of his good friends on the Bel-Air coaching staff. This one is in the books. Bel-Air has defeated St. Clairsville here this afternoon by a score of 27-20. All right, let's do one more time. Take a look at the players of the game. Yes, no? All right, we're good. That's it from Nelson Field for Coach Rich Walensky. This is George Kellis. Until next time, so long, everybody.
Seven nine eight seven.